What is up, degenerates? Welcome back to HypeCheck for yet another video for the UFC. In today's video, I'm doing a full card breakdown, going over each and every fight for UFC 290, Alexander Volkanovski versus Jauregui. As always, if you guys are new here, join the fam, hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to hit that 50k subscribe mark, so if you are new, it does help out the channel a lot. But before we get into anything, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Stake, the #1 sportsbook and casino available online. All the odds you're hearing in the video are coming directly from Stake. I commonly get this question like, where are you getting these odds? They're way better than FanDuel, DraftKings, etc. And that's because it is directly from Stake, the #1 sportsbook and casino available online. And exclusively for the HypeCheck fam, when you sign up to Stake using the code HYPE, I'll personally be giving you guys a $75 tip, essentially free money for you guys. All you got to do is sign up to Stake. Message me on Instagram at HypeCheck Sports or on Twitter at HypeCheck after you do that, and I'll make sure to send over the tip ASAP. Also, for you guys in the US, the Stake US website also just launched, and for that, you need to use the code HypeCheck. One more time, you got to use the code HypeCheck for that, and you'll get the same $75 tip. After you sign up, like I said, just message me on either Twitter or Instagram, and I'll send you over the tip ASAP. Stake is the best sportsbook, the only one I recommend currently. It has extremely high limits, instant cash outs, instant deposits. It's super good, and you could even live stream a lot of the fights and games directly from their platform. Regardless of that, thank you guys for all the support. You guys know we kill it on UFC pay-per-view events. So if any of you guys want to sign up for my VIP system, I'll be leaving that link in the pinned comment down below as well. On my VIP system, you get every single bet that I place, regardless of the sport. Specifically for the UFC, it's my specialty, and I'm looking to kill it this week. And yeah, make sure to comment your favorite bets and picks down below as myself. I know a lot of the other viewers like looking at the comments, discussing the picks down below. And yeah, let's not waste any more time on top into the video. Let's do it. Kicking off the early prelims, we got Kamuela Kirk going up against Esteban and Ribovics. Esteban is the favorite at -139, and Kirk is the underdog at +122. Esteban is looking to bounce back off his UFC debut loss, his first loss of his career to Leokradzev. Kirk, he's making his lightweight debut, looking to bounce back off his submission loss to Damon Jackson. Kirk will have a 6-inch reach advantage and will be the more accurate striker with better experience under his belt. Esteban, on the other hand, will be the fighter who throws with a higher amount of volume and better striking defense. Betting wise, I'll have to side with the favorite in Esteban here, as he'll have the better gas tank and will be putting out more volume with bigger power and is more durable. However, this is not a fight I recommend betting on, as it's basically a coin flip. Either guy could win. It's a favorite pass spot here. Next up, we got Shannon Ross going up against Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar is the favorite at -139, and Ross is the underdog at +123. Both guys are looking to bounce back off losses. Aguilar, a submission loss in his debut to Tatsuro Taira, and Ross, he needs a win in this spot badly, coming into this one off 2 straight losses, most recently a knockout loss in his UFC debut to Clayton Rodriguez. This one will be short and sweet. I'm on Aguilar all day here in the spot. Ross is nearly 7 years older, and with that wear and tear is showing, he loves getting into brawls, and unfortunately for him, he can get knocked out by a gust of wind. His chin is depleted, and against a pressure fighter, that's a dangerous game. Betting-wise, while Aguilar is way more dangerous on the mat, I still think he'll be able to get it done on Saturday. It's a favorite to pass spot here. After that, we got Cameron Saaiman going up against Terrence Mitchell. Cameron is the favorite at -500, and Mitchell is the underdog at +420. Cameron is an 8-0 prospect, 2-0 in the UFC, his most recent win via decision over at Limona Martinez. Mitchell, he's on an 11-fight win streak, making his UFC debut fresh off his submission win over Christian Alexander. Cameron is 11 years younger than Mitchell. He faced higher level of competition, and outside of a fluky knockout, he should get this done fairly easily. This is pretty much a setup-esque fight for him by the UFC. He's a technical striker with decent grappling. Betting-wise, although Cameron is going to win on Saturday, him only being 22 against a guy who has over double the amount of fights as him, yes, I know it's against shitty competition, but Cameron is also -500. Stay away from betting this one, boys, and I wouldn't even parlay him at this price tag either. From the tape I've watched on Mitchell, he's a dangerous dude, and he'll have a 2-inch height and 4-inch reach advantage, so the striking exchanges could get a little sketchy. The only way I'd bet on Cameron is via knockout on that player prop, as I think that's fairly likely. Favorite to pass spot here, on to the next. Next up, we got Vitor Petrino going up against Marcin Prachnio. Petrino is the favorite at -250, and Prachnio is the underdog at +220. Petrino is an 8-0 fighter, fresh off his UFC debut win over Anton Turkaj. Prachnio, he's coming off a decision win over William Knight. Yet another large age gap in this matchup, and what seems like yet another setup fight by the UFC. I low-key feel like I'm breaking down a PFL card this week, as a lot of these are setup fights. Regardless, Petrino is 8 years younger than Prachnio, and he'll have a massive grappling advantage in this spot. He averages over 4 takedowns a fight, and it just so happens to be Prachnio has a subpar 55% takedown defense. Petrino is also a very dangerous striker. Betting-wise, Prachnio at this stage in his career, he's a knockout or bust type fighter, and while he is always live for that knockout, I don't think he'll get it on Saturday. It's a favorite to pass spot here, and one of the safer favorites on the card. Closing out the prelims, we got Tatsuro Taira going up against Edgar Chairez. Tatsuro is the favorite at -909, and Edgar is the underdog at +680. Tatsuro is a 23-year-old, 13-0 prospect, fresh off his submission win over Jesus Santos Aguilar. Edgar, he's a 10-4 fighter making his UFC debut. This one will be short and sweet. Tatsuro is the UFC's baby. He's the #1 ranked flyweight out of Japan, and they are going to give him the easiest fights they can to build him up, as he's a cash cow for them if he eventually becomes a top contender, which he potentially can. He has powerful striking and very good grappling. Edgar, on the other hand, is a 10-4 fighter, coming to this one on short notice, and while he's a dangerous fighter on the mat, he's extremely hittable, and I doubt he'll be able to submit Tatsuro. Betting-wise, the UFC clearly wants Tatsuro in this spot, and the odds are showing it. He will not lose this fight. Maybe out of 100 times they fight, he would lose like 2 or maybe 1.5 of them. Don't bet this fight, though, as these odds are not normal. It's a favorite to pass spot here. Kicking off the prelims, we got Crute going up against Alonzo Menifield. Crute is the favorite at -120, and Menifield is the underdog at +107. This is a rematch from their fight earlier this year. The first time they fought ended in a draw, and speaking on the first time these two fought, essentially what happened was Crute was winning all the wrestling exchanges while Menifield was dominating all the striking exchanges. Both guys have knockout power, but it's obvious where both guys want this fight to take place. Betting-wise, I'm going to side with the younger fighter here in Crute, as I liked how he looked more the last time these two faced, specifically towards the end of the fight. He has better cardio, and I think this time around his game plan would be immediately to go for those takedowns, tire Menifield out, and avoid those power punches. Last time out, I backed Menifield, and I'm switching sides this Saturday. It's a favorite pass spot here, definitely not a parlay piece though. Next up, we got Yazmin Jauregui going up against Denise Gomes. Yazmin is the favorite at -370, and Gomes is the underdog at +310. Yazmin is a 24-year-old 10-0 prospect, 2-0 in the UFC, coming to this one off a knockout win over Estela Nunes last year. Gomes, she's coming off a knockout win over Bruna Brazil earlier this year. Starting off with Yazmin, she's a rare women's prospect I actually think has a lot of potential. She throws with big power, puts out a ton of pressure, and has decent grappling. Very well-rounded at only 24. Gomes, on the other hand, will definitely be her hardest test to date. She's durable, only getting knocked out in her first pro fight ever, which is pretty surprising as she's a pressure-heavy style. Betting-wise, you guys know my rule. I don't bet on any female fighter over -200 odds unless it's Amanda Nunes or Valentina, and I'm keeping that rule this week. It's a favorite to pass spot here. After that, we got Della Maddalena going up against Josiah Harrell. JDM is the favorite at -909, and Harrell is the underdog at +680. JDM is a 26-year-old, 14-2 fighter, currently riding a 14-fight win streak, 4-0 in the UFC, fresh off his submission win over Randy Brown earlier this year. Harrell, he's a 7-0 fighter, 24-year-old prospect, making his UFC debut on Saturday. This one will be short and sweet. JDM was originally going to fight Sean Brady in the spot, and Harrell, compared to Brady, is practically a joke. A massive step down in competition, and essentially, this is a matchup like many of the others on the card, just to prop up JDM and get him an easy win. Betting-wise, while Harrell is a decent fighter, he's 7-0 and a good wrestler. However, he's clearly outmatched in the spot. It's JDM all day here. He'll also have a 4-inch height and a whopping 6-inch reach advantage. So, if he gets taken down when it's on the feet, he'll probably get a finish. It's a favorite to pass spot here. Closing out the prelims, we got Robbie Lawler going up against Nico Price. Price is the favorite at -250, and Lawler is the underdog at +215. Lawler, he's coming into this one in his retirement fight, looking to bounce back off his knockout loss to Brian Barberena last year. Price, he's also coming off a knockout loss to Phil Rowe last year. This one will be a lot of fun to watch on Saturday, and I'm happy the UFC is giving Lawler Nico and not a young prospect to get dominated. Lawler, we all know and love, a guaranteed UFC Hall of Famer, just recently put in the UFC Hall of Fame actually, former champ, a technical brawler, and very well-rounded. Not as durable as he used to be, but he could definitely put it together one last time for this fight. Nico, on the other hand, is willing to brawl. He's a kill or be killed fighter. Both these guys absorb more strikes than they land, which is a recipe for some eye candy on Saturday and blood. Betting wise, I may be biased here, as Lawler is one of my all-time favorite fighters, but I think he has one more left in the tank, and at 2-1 odds, I'll happily sprinkle him against a fighter with 0 fighter IQ. It's a dog or pass spot here. On to the main. Kicking off the main card, we got Bo Nickel going up against Valentin Woodburn. Nickel is the favorite at minus 2,500, and Woodburn is the underdog at plus 1,300. Nickel, he's a 4-0 prospect coming into this one in his UFC debut win over Jamie Pickett. Woodburn, he's 7-0, making his UFC debut. And do I even need to break down this fight? Nickel is the biggest UFC favorite of all time in this matchup. He's better wherever this fight goes, and while Woodburn has virtually nothing to lose in the spot, Nickel is the UFC's baby, and it's clear why he's a 13-1 underdog. The only way, and literally only way Woodburn wins is via knockout, and if you degenerates want a near plus 2,000 play, that would be it, taking Woodburn to win by knockout, but it just won't happen. I would be utterly shocked. Betting-wise, Nickel inside the distance, Nickel round 1 finish are decent looks. Besides for those two plays, there's literally no value in betting him or even using him as a parlay piece. It's just not worth it at these odds. It's a favorite to pass spot here. After that, we got Dan Hooker going up against Jalen Turner. Turner is the favorite at minus 270 and Hooker is the underdog at plus 230. Turner, he's looking to bounce back off a split decision loss to Mateus Gamrot. Hooker, he's coming off a knockout win over Claudio Puelles. Starting off with Turner, he's probably one of my favorite plays on the entire card. He's the younger fighter who puts out more volume and will have a 3-inch height and 2-inch reach advantage. Turner will also be putting out more volume and won't be a literal punching bag like Hooker will be on Saturday. Hooker legit has 0% fighter IQ, and while he is a very skilled striker with far better experience, I don't think he'll fare well against Turner's boxing, specifically his jab. It's a favorite to pass spot here, and I'm very confident in Turner this week, if you couldn't tell. Next up, we got Robert Whittaker going up against Dricus du Plessis. Whittaker is the favorite at minus 385, and Dricus is the underdog at plus 320. Whittaker, he's coming off a decision win over Marvin Vettori. Dricus off a knockout win over Derek Brunson. What can I tell you guys about Whittaker that you don't already know? The former middleweight champ, elite striking, can mix in takedowns nicely if he needs to. Practically the best middleweight in the world if Izzy never existed. Dricus, on the other hand, is a power striker. He'll have a 3-inch reach advantage and will be putting out more volume with more accuracy. Betting-wise, I know Whittaker is going to win on Saturday, but I'm placing a bet on Dricus. Call me crazy, but shout out to Clint from Dire MMA, but I'm putting on my tinfoil hat here. It's pretty clear that the UFC doesn't want another Izzy Whittaker fight, and it's pretty clear Sean Strickland is not the guy to give a title shot. He's publicity cancer. And while it would be extremely entertaining for the fans, it just wouldn't be good for the UFC as a company. They want a new face in the mix, and I'm taking the shot on Dricus, who is extremely live for a knockout. Betting-wise, Dricus has also been hyping up his cardio, so maybe him post-nasal surgery will be a brand new fighter. It's a dog or pass spot here. Whittaker will win, but for me, it's worth putting a little sprinkle on Dricus. Now, we go to the co-main event of the evening with Brandon Moreno going up against Alexander Pantoja. Moreno is the favorite at minus 196, and Pantoja is the underdog at plus 170. Moreno, he's coming off a knockout win over Figgy earlier this year. Pantoja off a sub win over Alex Perez. For those of you who don't know, this is actually the third time these two have fought. The first time was back in 2016 when Pantoja won by submission, the second in 2018 when he won by decision. Moreno is non-stop action and has an iron chin. He will have a 2-inch height and 3-inch reach advantage as well in this spot. Pantoja is the more technical and better overall striker. Moreno hits harder, has relentless pace, and his biggest advantage in this spot will be with his wrestling. Specifically, when he finds success in his takedowns, it'll win him rounds. Betting-wise, I know a lot of people are on Pantoja in this spot, but I'm backing a similar narrative as Izzy and Pereira, where Izzy finally got that dub over his nemesis, and the same will happen on Saturday with Moreno. As he vastly improved over the last 5 years, it's a favorite pass spot here, and still. It's time for the main event of the evening with Alexander Volkanovski, Alexander the Great, going up against Yair Rodriguez. Volkanovski is the favorite at minus 385, and Rodriguez is the underdog at plus 320. Volk is looking to get back in the win column after his loss to Islam Makhachev after moving up in weight. Rodriguez, he's coming off a submission win over Josh Emmett, one of, if not the best featherweights of all time. Finally makes his return to defend the strap. He's going up against a very dangerous striker in Rodriguez, or should I say dangerous kicker. Yair will have a massive 5-inch reach advantage. Somehow they still have the same reach, and while Yair is good everywhere, there are levels to the game, boys, and Volk is levels above Yair, and frankly everyone in the featherweight division. Let's get Volk a quick win here without too much damage and get him that rematch with Islam Makhachev, the fight we all want to see. I like the over 4.5 rounds and Volk to win by decision. It's a favorite pass spot here. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to join the hundreds of other members cashing weekly in the VIP fam, just click the link in the top comment section or description. Shout out once again to Stake for sponsoring today's video. If you need a sportsbook to bet on, make sure to lock over your bets over at there. All the odds you're hearing in the video are coming directly from Stake, the best odds available online, and exclusively for the HypeCheck fam. When you sign up to Stake using the code HYPE, I'll personally be sending you guys a $75 tip. That's free money. And for all of you guys in the US, Stake has launched their US website. So use the code HypeCheck for the Stake US website. Send me a screenshot on Instagram at HypeCheck Sports or on Twitter at HypeCheck, and I'll send you guys over the tip ASAP. The best way to support the channel is signing up for Stake. And trust me, it'll be the best decision you make, as they are the best sportsbook available online. Thank you, boys, for all the support. Make sure to comment your favorite bets and picks down below. Good luck, boys. Sorry for the late upload. I'll try to do earlier next week, but the July 4th just got me a little crazy this week. But I did a ton of research, and I'm extremely hyped for this pay-per-view card. I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace.